So this is my second time filming this video because on the first attempt, my phone dropped. And so it was on the ground. It was terrible. Yeah. So yeah, let's do this again. Hello beautiful bookworms, my name is Katarina and welcome to my channel, and today I am going to be doing a TBR for the month of November, which you guys, if you know me, you already know. If I'm doing a TBR, it means that I'm going to be participating in readathons. In this case, specifically one readathon, which I will talk to you all about it in a second, and also in a buddy read, which will be my second buddy read ever. I have only done another one, and so I'm very excited to do this one, especially with the person that it is. And without further ado, I'm going to tell you firstly what buddy read I'm going to be doing, and then I'm going to tell you what readathon I'm going to be doing because it's a new one in the world of booktube, so you guys should participate because it's a really cool readathon. So first of all, I'm going to be buddy reading Furyborn, the first by Claire Legrand, actually, the first in the Imperium trilogy. Yeah, and this I will be buddy reading with Anna Francesca, and if you don't know her, she's one of the creators content of booktube, and she's amazing. She's very kind, she's very sweet, and I'm very happy that I'm buddy reading with her. So we already have our things worked out, and we are going to read these per chapters throughout the months of November, and it's going to be very, very fun, I believe. I hope I can chat with her a lot about this book. And yeah, so this is going to be on my TBR, but it has nothing to do with the readathon. If you don't know Anna Francesca, I'm going to leave her link down below. So if you're not following her, you should, because she's pretty great and she has excellent video ideas. So do it. Now, for the readathon that I'm going to be participating, this readathon was created by Kasha in Bookland, and if you don't know Kasha, she is amazing. She reads a lot of horror and thriller, and she loves horror things, and so she decided that she was going to create a horror-based readathon, and the prompts of the readathon are based on Stephen King books, and the readathon itself is called Evil-a-thon. And if that's not awesome, I mean, can you see me being evil? Can you?
Don't I look spooky and mean?
As I was saying, if you know me, you know that I really like twisted and creepy things, and so a readathon about horror books or creepy books or spooky books sounded like the perfect thing for me. And as you can see, that is my horror shelf, and it used to be bigger. I have pretty much picked up all of the books that could be considered horror or spooky and put them in here, and I'm going to choose some books for the prompts. So there's 10 prompts for this readathon, and one of the things that she said is that you can double up on prompts if you want. I am going to do something which is very strange, but I am going to try and read 10 books for the 10 prompts, taking away Furyborn because Furyborn, it's not a horror book. Although it could be, since it's about two queens and they are centuries apart, and one is supposed to be like the Doom Queen and the other one the good one. So I don't know, but I'm not considering that one. That one is a progress through the weeks, and these ones will be the specific ones that I'm reading. So of course, probably I won't be able to read 10 of the books. I have 12 horror books here, horror thrillerish, that I haven't read. And so I will pick from these ones, but of course, probably I won't read all of them, but what matters is that I have fun. So I'm just going to try to pick books for specific challenges. So the first prompt is Carrie, the Blood Challenge, and it says you have to read a horror book with red on the cover. So I had actually 4 books at least that could potentially, 5 books at least, that could potentially be... Wow, I forgot what I was going to say. Jesus. Okay, as I was saying, I had at least 4 or 5 books that could potentially fit this challenge, but I decided to go with a short one. This one has only 212 pages and is a book that, first of all, I already watched the movie, so I sort of know what I expect coming from this. Second of all, it was one of my favorite movies ever. And third of all, it is written by a Japanese author. And you know what I think about Japanese authors. I always feel like they portray emotions and creepiness and everything better than other authors because of their culture and the way they approach emotions. And so I decided to read Confessions by Kanae Minato. So this is basically about this teacher. Supposedly her daughter has been murdered, and her husband has this problem, basically, and their relationship ends up in tragedy. And so basically, she decides, Yuko, which is our main character and the teacher, she decides that she's going to retire because she can't deal with this anymore. But before she retires, she decides that she's going to teach her students one final lesson. And this is creepy in a way, and it's terrifying because of the premise of the thing and what is happening. But at the same time, it's not that it is completely horrifying. It's just, it shooks you to the core of yourself. It's something that you never imagined that could be possible, and it is. And so I really want to pick it up and read it and see if it incites the same feeling in me that the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, I would of course say read the book first because it's the base for the movie, but if you've never seen the movie, please go watch that movie. That movie is amazing. It's just one of the best movies that I've ever seen, hands down. Then we have Needful Things, the favorite challenge. Book from your favorite horror genre. And I have to say, although I really absolutely love all and any type of horror, and I don't have a specific genre that I love, I do notice that when I get to this particular thing of horror, there is nothing that can be done wrong for me, and I will specify. I don't know if you know this, but slasher movies and slasher stories are a type of horror stories, of course. And those were based on 80s, early 90s sort of movies and sort of descriptions, as Friday the 13th, for instance, or Scream or something like that. And I have a book that I really want to read because I have read the first book of this author and I absolutely loved it. So I decided that I wanted to read the second one, which I already own, and that is The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager. This is supposed to be a book that happens in a camp, like Camp Crystal Lake, for instance, which is where the Friday the 13th movies happened. And although slasher movies have a lot of cliches and situations that are not specifically very smart, I really enjoy slashers. I have read The Final Girls by Riley Sager. It's also a slasher. I loved it. And people have told me that Last Time I Lied is not in-your-face slasher, but it has to do with it, and it evokes a lot of camp feelings for me. So I am very excited to read this one and see what it is about. The next prompt is the Dead Zone Undead Challenge, and that is read a book about an undead creature or person. It can be vampires, werewolves, ghosts, everything that is undead. And for this one, I chose The Silent Companions by Laura Purcell. And this supposedly is about this girl. She, I believe, is a widow, and she is pregnant, and she's trying to deal with her grief and with her pregnancy. And so she goes to her husband's property. And this is sort of a Victorian, actually you can see it here, a Victorian sort of house, and there's this painting with a face, and there's supposed to be Victorian ghosts, which, fight me on this, but are the best type of ghosts. Victorian ghosts are fucking mischievous, fucking evil, and I love them so much. So I'm very excited to see what it's brought up in this. It says, inspired in the imaginary of Shirley Jackson and Susan Hill, which are the creators, respectively, of The Haunting of Hill House and The Woman in Black, I believe. This is a romance of Victorian horror that evokes unquiet fear in relation to ghostly presence waiting in the shadows. So, undead ghosts creeping up on a pregnant woman. It's terrifying. The fourth challenge is Bay of Bones, Buried Challenge. It's supposed to be a horror or a thriller about a murder or a serial killer. So in this case, The Last Time I Lied could work as a book for this one. So if I can't read anymore, that will be the thing. Also, Confessions could potentially serve for this because it has to do with the murder of the main character's daughter, although it's not a serial killer. So both of these could work. So I am deciding that I am not going to choose any... No, I'm not going to choose any book else because none of the specific books that I still have here are about a murderer or serial killer except one that has more than 400 pages. Okay, on second thought, I can double up with this as well. So I am going to try. I don't think I can do this because I'm reading Furyborn, which has more than 400 pages as well. But I am thinking that for a horror thriller about murder serial killer, I can also try to read The Outsider by Stephen King, which is about a murder of a child. And this one could double up on another, which would be the 8th prompt called The Long Walk, Go Big or Go Home, which is read a book over 400 pages, which this one is, because it is 500 and something, if I can. But this one is not, let's just not put it in the main TBR. It's only if I can, because this is very big and I have a lot of things to do with my PhD, and I have a buddy read that's also very big, so maybe, but maybe not. We will see. Apart from that, we have The Outsider, which is the book that I showed you right now, which, oh my god. And it says, Out of the Box Challenge, horror outside of your comfort zone. And this one I'm actually going to mix together with the next prompt, which is Face Your Fears Challenge, and includes one of your biggest fears. So I'm not picking 10 books, am I? Sorry, I lied to you guys, but I can't read that much, and I am seeing that these books mix together, so it's the perfect thing. And so for this one, I'm going to read Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. And this one, first of all, it's outside of my comfort zone because I have never in my life read an exorcism book, which is kind of stupid, but it's also kind of understandable since one of my biggest fears is possessions. And this is supposed to be a bit stupid because in reality, supposedly, possessions don't happen. But there's been a lot of supposedly true cases, which we will never know if they're true or not, that have to do with possessions. And it's something that creeps me the fuck out because it's a being, which is demonic, that is coming into you, controlling you, making you completely fucked up, and then killing you normally, because when you do an exorcism, sometimes things don't go quite right. And I have a very irrational, stupid fear of being possessed, which, why the fuck? I don't know. But so this is outside my comfort zone in every sense of the word, and it's also one of my biggest fears. So let's face this shit together, because I probably can't read this before going to sleep. I don't know. The next challenge is The Shining, or the Welcome Home Challenge, a book about a haunted place. So the Silent Companions could serve for this, and it will serve for this because I have no other book about a haunted place, which is very sad, unless you count Head Full of Ghosts, since your head could be a haunted place. I don't know, but this one I'll have to double up. Again, Jesus, I did not want to double up. God damn it, I'm sorry, Kasha, but I don't have 10 horror books that fit these prompts. I'm terrible. I'm a terrible booktuber. The 8th prompt I already told you. It's the book over 400 pages, which could or not be The Outsider. We will see. If not, I do believe that the last time I lied has 399 pages, so I'm going to count that shit. I don't care. And the next one is Dr. Sleep, or The Bed Challenge. Read a whole book while in bed. I mean, maybe one of these, the smallest ones. I don't know. We will see. We will try. And then the last challenge is Different Seasons, spooky stories. Read horror short stories. So I don't really have a short story horror book, but I don't know. I could potentially try. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have a short story book, but we will see. If I do manage to get my hand on horror short stories, maybe comics or something, I will let you know. I am planning to vlog weekly for this readathon since it's the whole month, so you will know what I'm reading for what I'm reading, and I'm sorry that this TBR is a little bit of a mess. I started this video wanting to have 10 books for 10 prompts, and I failed because I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 books for this readathon. So sorry about that, but it's kind of getting complicated. So you guys go to this readathon. As you saw, the prompts are amazing. They're based in Stephen King novels. They're great, and you can read a lot of horror. And if you don't like horror, try to just fit books that have the same prompts, and you can still do the readathon. Kind of defeats the purpose, but you are not obligated to read what you don't want to read. So that's going to be all for today. And I wanted to also thank you because at the time of filming this video, I am actually over the 400 mark on my subscribers, and I am very, very happy. So tell me down below if there's something that you would like me to do, a Q&A or a giveaway or something, because I would really like to thank you guys. Of course, I can lose subscribers until the date that I'm going to post this video. It's fine, but if I don't, tell me something in the comments down below. And that's going to be it for today. So happy readings to you all, and don't forget to read horror books in November because the spooky season is still on until Christmas, guys. So, bye!